Hi there. Today I want to continue talking about love. And I started talking about that in relation to those of us who had earthly fathers. We might not have felt a great deal of love from them, and sometimes that can color our relationship with God. But today I want to talk about it in a little bit of a different way. And this is actually an exchange that Jesus had with someone, and it's recounted in Luke 10:26 through 27. And in this passage, Jesus confirms that the most important commandment is that we love God with all of our heart, all of our thoughts, all of our mind, all of our strength. He's number one. He is our first love. But the second most important commandment is that we love our neighbor in the same way that we love ourselves. And the person he's speaking with comes back and says, well, okay, who is my neighbor? And so Jesus responds by telling him the parable of the Good Samaritan. And you're probably familiar with that, so I'm not going to go through it. But I think it's interesting that in the parable of the Good Samaritan, it's somebody who would normally be seen as an enemy of that person who actually stopped and took care of him, who bound him up and paid for him to have a place to recover. And so I think Jesus was making the point that it's not always the people who we think of who are our neighbors, but they're people who are placed in our path so that we can help them. And not just help, but show love to them. And that's what he said, right? Love them in the same way that you love yourself. Like if I get hurt, I'm probably going to take care of myself. If I have a problem, I'm going to deal with it. If somebody else has a problem or is hurt and can't deal with it, then that's someone I can show love to. And they may not look like us. They may not necessarily like us. They may be very incredibly different from us. We may have never seen the person in our lives before. But these are our neighbors. They are the people who are in our lives, who are in our path, so that we can show them love, so that we can help them. And the thing is, God pours love into us, and we are to spread that love out in our lives, in our daily dealings with other people. We're to spread love. And that means that we have to really keep in mind who we are and who lives in us. And so I want to make sure that when people have an encounter with me, that I represent God well, that I show his love, that I have his patience, that I have his mercy, that I have his kindness. It is so important in our lives because a lot of times we are the only Jesus that someone is going to see in this world. So we have to keep that in mind. And love is paramount in our interactions with other people. Sometimes people say things and I just hold my tongue. And then I try to show love to them. I might not feel like it, but I'm called to do it. I mean, Jesus said it was so important that he listed that as the second most important commandment, is that we're to love other people the same way we love ourselves. That means we treat other people the way we want to be treated. And that's an important way that we show his love. It's not always easy, not gonna lie. Sometimes some people are just harder to love than other people. But it's what we're called to do. And God never said, hey, I'm going to give you this really easy life if you put Jesus first in your life. That's not what he said at all. But we are called to tell other people about him. We are called to show his love. And I can't remember where this verse is in the Bible, but it does say that it's the goodness of God that draws men to him. And we share that goodness. We help that. If we help someone with a physical need that they have, if we help someone who is sick to get healed or, get help, then we're showing love. And that's goodness. And that goodness can draw people who may not know God, that may not know Jesus, they can draw them to God. And that's important. That's why we're here. That's what we're supposed to be doing. So keep in mind that your first love is God, and the second thing that you're supposed to do is love your neighbor the way you love yourself. Not always an easy thing to do, but super important in the long run. So this is something that you can practice every day. Sometimes it's just a smile and a hello that I give. I run, and there are sometimes people who will not respond to me when I say hello to them in the morning. And there was this one particular woman, she just refused to acknowledge that I was saying hello to her. And I just kept doing it. And I would smile, and I just had a lot of love in my heart for her. And I would say, "Hey, how are you today?" And you know what? That woman now actually starts the conversation in the mornings, but it took a while. But I just continued to shower her with love. And love will break down boundaries. Love will always win. So even if it's something really small like that, take on love projects. Show love to your neighbors, whoever they are, wherever they are. They're in your path, they're in your life for a reason. So don't ever think that you don't need to show love to people, because we're called to do that. So I hope that encouraged somebody today. And go show love. Be blessed.